Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Mr. Reality, joined by psychic medium Liz Cross, and I wanted to bring forth the Witch of Agnesi, which is a sort of obtuse sort of mathematical theorem from the 1700s, and see if we can bring forth the mathematician proof that was involved with this. Liz, this is Maria Gaetana Agnesi. I wonder if we could speak with her. Thank you for joining me, by the way.
Oh, thank you for putting this probe together.
Are you
And I've
familiar with
done it.
her?
I've never heard of her. I do have her here.
Okay. Thank you for joining us, Maria. Is she incarnated now, or has she incarnated since passing away in 1799?
She had one other lifetime after this one, but she died of tuberculosis. And that was early on in the 1900s.
Okay. So she was very, very intelligent, very acclaimed, calculus like savant almost in her era. And I wanted to ask her first about her life and what that was like being so acclaimed in what were originally men circles.
She's very quiet. She doesn't speak very loud. She's not very overt. She's actually introverted in a lot of ways, but it's almost as if she's, in her own mind. And she's not very opinionated either. So I'm sorry, what was that question?
I just wonder what was it like being an accomplished calculus knowledgeable woman mathematician in that era when it was typically a man's world.
Being an accomplished mathematician. I mean, she really was humble and she really was quiet. She knew not to ruffle any man feathers. She's telling me because she wasn't competitive. And took a special type of person back then to give her, you know, recognition for those accomplishments. A lot of people hated her for those accomplishments. They absolutely despised her.
Why were they afraid of her or why? I mean, she could speak seven languages. She knew calculus. She was well read. This is back in, you know, post Italian Renaissance, 1700s.
Yes, but educated women were not celebrated then. Those are not things that women were to be celebrated for. Raising lots of children, religion, cooking, cleaning, washing. Those are the types of things that women were celebrated for. Were they a good wife? Right? This was something very, very unusual. And she really kept herself to herself. I mean, that's all she did was read and study. She didn't really engage with many people around her.
And so, what did that do to her soul journey by having that sort of ostracization in her life?
She says it was very beneficial because she was able to work on herself. I mean, she was seen as a weirdo. Um,
I always
men
like the
were
weird
afraid.
girls, the smart girls, sat in the corner.
Men were afraid of her. They were intimidated by her, and she's telling me, I'm like, did you ever have any relationships? I mean, she kind of did. Did you have any like close male friends? She did. Did you have any like sexual relationships? No. She would not extend herself in that way with her competitors because she knew then she would be seen as not her own version of herself, that the only way that she would have gathered this information is because she's sleeping with someone who's smart, right? And she said
Huh.
that philosophy is still even into today's world, that the only way women can get to the top is if they sleep their way there, right?
Well,
That's just
that might
another
be
way.
applicable in some arenas. We may possibly um, politics or other arenas or education.
Yeah, but she's disagreeing with, I understand, but she's saying to me, like, but that's just like such a common viewpoint back then, that, and she didn't want to lose sight of herself, that she didn't do this on her own, that she had to have a man as like the vehicle to get her where she's going, and she didn't want to do that, right? So she really abstained from any type of sexual relationships, and then because she would not really give in to those advances, she's telling me then she got labeled as this like introverted weirdo.
What's she been doing in the afterlife? Has she pursued any studies or mathematics beyond death?
Do you do any mathematics up in the afterlife? No, she's taking a break. She's putting her feet up. She does enjoy listening to stories about what has happened on the earth plane, particularly with like scientific experiments, innovations, things like that.
How are those stories conveyed to her, or does she pop in and see them firsthand for herself?
Ooh, how are those stories conveyed to you? Or do you pop in and see them firsthand? She does pop in and see them firsthand, but you know, all information, she says, if you're interested in it, you're emotionally attached to it, all information is available.
Okay, give us a specific thing that you've popped in to look at some scientific discovery that we may or may not be aware of.
DNA. She was very excited about the discovery of DNA. Um, Genes. She's really into like genes and chromosomes and, you know, predispositions genetically. Um, she's really into how the DNA structures potential lifetimes. She also likes weather advancements, and I'm saying why? Because she would often just stare for hours outside of a window, watching the weather, watching the clouds. And she would say, this is so brilliant how, and she understood back then in this particular lifetime how all of this stuff was a mathematical equation. So the clouds were, mathematically put together, designed that way. And she would always try to find formulas to crack these codes into these mathematical equations. She believed that the universe was created from mathematics. So let me ask her this question. Now that you're on the other side, do you believe that to be true? Absolutely, 100%. It's all mathematical.
What can she tell us about DNA that we don't know that would blow our mind?
Ooh, I thought you were going to ask me to solve that equation. Like, no, Liz cannot do that.
We'll have you
Um,
write that afterwards. Just move Liz's hand, and then we'll have the equation
no.
to manifest our ultimate lotto winnings.
Ooh, let's ask her that question before we go into the DNA. Is the lottery a mathematical equation? Yes, and it's already predetermined. So if whoever wins the lottery, that was already predetermined, absolutely. And that's because mathematically, their energy field drew in that energy of the lottery. And what happened? And it can solve the equation.
How do
Ooh,
Liz and Mr. Reality get to have that energy approach them and stick with them?
how do we get to do that and get that energy? No, you two have to learn the hard way. She's laughing now, but the way she laughs is like she puts her hand over her mouth so that you can't really see that she's laughing, but she's having a real cheeky laugh. Um,
DNA, what don't we know about it that would blow our mind?
it can unlock the code to the universe.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? Mathematically, it holds the code that created the universe, and it can be solved.
Are there other planets in our solar system that are inhabited?
Other planets within our solar system that you're aware of that are inhabited? No, mathematically, they cannot live there.
Hmm. What does she feel is the most important thing for people to focus on in their lifetime?
What do you feel is the most important thing for people to focus in their lifetime? Solving their own equations, why they're here, what they're supposed to learn, how they're going to learn it, and getting through their life lessons. I have to ask her a question. Is the earth itself, is that one big mathematical equation? She says no, it's a very complex set of mathematical equations. Will we ever destroy the earth? No, we are not that powerful. So with all the global warming and everything, that is talked about, everything, the melting of the ice caps and all of that, what will happen? What does the earth do then at that point? It saves itself. So it will find a way to make the pendulum swing back the other way.
Has she met anybody historically cool that we might know about in the afterlife?
Isaac Newton,
Oh, what was that like?
brilliant, brilliant. She is a huge fan of Isaac Newton.
Was Isaac Newton a huge fan of hers?
Yes, he was. She
Does she
quite
feel like,
she quite fancies Isaac Newton.
well, good luck with that one. Um, does she feel like her life sort of fell after her dad died because she didn't pursue any romantic relationship? She kind of, I think, maybe went into teaching after her dad died, but sort of fell off into non recognition.
After your dad died, what happened? She just tried to carry on as normal. And you started teaching, yes, but the information she wanted to teach was never received very well.
Did she study any magical arts that she felt she couldn't talk about, or, you know, talk about transmutation of lead into gold, those types of things? Did that, her mathematics take her there at all?
Did you get into anything that you didn't talk about, like, you know, transmutation or, excuse me, witchcraft, or no? No. What about colors? She believes colors is a mathematical formula.
Oh, what can you do with color that we don't know we can do with color?
What can we do with color that you don't know that we can do with color? So you can actually get into the DNA and alter it mathematically to change, whatever you want to look like, right? So if you wanted to be a pink person, you could actually change the DNA structures mathematically and be a pink person.
What is DNA?
What is DNA? It's your mathematical programming, coding.
Is it from like our soul, or, I mean, is there Is there, we're talking about your lifetime, your past lives. Are your past lives contained in that DNA?
Are all of your past lives contained in that DNA? No, that's it energetically contained in the soul memory, but a lot of information from those past lives is programmed into the DNA structure.
Okay, but that's only the past lives of that lineage genetically, right? Is there anything non genetically contained within DNA?
Is there anything non genetically contained within DNA? Yes. The magnetic pull that the planets have on your being, everything about your lifetime, all information about your lifetime, the current lifetime, is held in the DNA. It is the programming.
What did she want to achieve down here that she didn't accomplish?
What did you want to achieve down here that you didn't accomplish? Having a child.
Did she have that in the next lifetime?
Did you have that in the next lifetime? No.
What are her plans for the future, either in the afterlife or down here on this earth plane?
What are your plans for the future? To come back as a man. To come back as a man. It's funny because it's hard to find any of her lifetimes where she's had any children at all. And I'm saying, why would you want to now structure it that you come back as a male? And it's because she doesn't have to worry about the child rearing according to her own personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions.
Did she have a traumatic childbearing in a previous lifetime, and that's why she hadn't had any in more recent times?
No, but she's not very maternal. And that's something that she struggles with.
How many lifetimes has she had?
How many lifetimes have you had as a human? How many? 500.
What model or step of ascension is she on?
What level of ascension are you on? 4.
Huh. Is there a final mystery or goal that you want to uncover when you're down here on the earth plane or when you're in the spirit plane?
Is there a final mystery? She has to learn how to have this capacity to love others. That's really hard for her.
400 lifetimes. You would think it wouldn't be that hard. What's preventing her on a soul level from being able to get that piece of the puzzle?
What's preventing me on a soul level from getting that piece of the puzzle? She doesn't make contracts with soulmates. Like that scares her. There's a lot of fear around that.
But she's coming back as a man next time. Does she have a plan to have children next time?
Plan to have children. Yes, 4 of them.
What does she think about her legacy as referred to as the Witch of Agnesi, even though it's a mistranslation?
What do you think about the legacy of the myth of the witch of the? She likes it. She does like it.
Maria, thank you so much. Liz Cross, thank you so much. Everybody out there, thank you. We appreciate it. And I'm just trying to unpack and uncover the mysteries of the universe with the help of psychic medium Liz Cross. If you're not a member, go to patreon.com/remote viewing and beyond. And feel free to join us Monday mornings for consciousness transformation technique meditation. Thanks, Liz.
Yeah, thank you. Don't forget, Mr. Reality does have a tip jar in the comments. Thank you.